Today we're going to talk about how to solve multi-step equations. So these have at least 2 steps in them. Here are the steps that you need to follow when you're solving multi-step equations. You start by clearing any fractions by multiplying everything by the denominator. If there's more than one fraction, you have to find the lowest common denominator and then multiply by that. Then you get rid of the brackets by expanding, combine like terms, isolate the variable, solve for the variable, and check. The last few steps are just like all the ones you've been doing all along. So our first example, a over 5 minus a over 6 equals 1. Okay, so there's 2 fractions here. They both have different denominators. The lowest common denominator is actually 30. 5 times 6 is 30, and there's nothing else lower that they both go into. So we're going to multiply every single term by 30, because remember, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side. So I'm going to write 30 here, then multiplying by 30, multiply this by 30, multiply this by 30. Sorry, this stylus is terrible. Where's my other one? Maybe this one will be better. There we go. Okay, multiply all of them by 30. So over on this side of the equation, I still just have 30. On the left side, I have 30 times a over 5. Well, a times 30 divided by 5 is the same thing as a times 6. So basically 30 divided by 5 is 6. So those cross it, so I have 6a. The next term I have a over 6 times 30. If I divide 30 by 6, I get 5 over here. So I have negative, because it's a negative term, negative 5a. So 6a minus 5a is 30. Then we can combine like terms. There's no brackets, so we just jump right into combining like terms. 6a minus 5a is just a equals 30. Pretty simple first example here. Now we're going to check it. If we take a equals 30 and sub this back into the original equation, we'll see what we get here. I like these left side, right side checks. It keeps everything nice and organized. So left side, 30 over 5 minus 30 over 6. And right side, it should equal 1. Well, 30 divided by 5 is 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5. And that equals 1. So the left side is equal to the right side, which means a is equal to 30. Okay. Example number 2. This one's much more complicated. So let's take a look. What can we do first? Well, we have a fraction. So the easiest thing to do is to start by multiplying by the denominator first thing. So I'm going to multiply all of these terms by 2. Try this again. Multiply by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 2. So over here, first term, 2 times 3 is 6. Actually, I'm going to move that up. 6. Negative 5x times 2 would be negative 10x equals, these 2's will cancel out, which is exactly what we were going for. We have 14x plus 22 from that term. And then the last term we have negative 10x times 2, so that would be negative 20x. There's no brackets to worry about now, so we're going to combine like terms on each side of the equation. I'm going to leave this one the same for now, 6 minus 10x, because these are unlike terms. One has a variable and one does not. On the other side of the equation, we have a 14x and a minus 20x, a negative 20x. So we're going to combine those, and we'll get minus 6x plus 22. You could also write it 22 minus 6x. So the next thing we need to do is isolate the variable. So we want all the variables on one side of the equation and all the things without variables on the other side of the equation. So I'm actually going to bring the negative 10x to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to add 10x to both sides. These will cancel out. And then to skip one step or to do 2 steps in one here, I'm also going to subtract 22 from both sides because I want that to go on the other side. Oops. Subtract 22. Okay, so over here, 6 minus 22, we're going to get a negative. Sorry about that. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, so what we're doing, 6 minus 22. Sorry, I'm having multiple issues here. Alright, let's try this again. Go back a step here. Alright, 6 minus 22 is negative 16. On the other side, plus 22 minus 22 will cancel out, so all we're left with is negative 6x plus 10x. If we combine those together, we have negative 16 is equal to 4x. Running out of space here, but the last step is to divide both sides by 4. And then over here we'll get that x is equal to negative 4. Oops. Negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. Okay? Make sure to check this. So I'm going to erase all the writing here. So we had x equals negative 4. Excuse me. Sub this in. Left side, right side. 3 minus 5 times negative 4. Well, that negative 5 times negative 4 is positive 20. So 3 plus 20 gives us 23. On the right side, we have 14 times negative 4 plus 22, all divided by 2, then minus 10 times negative 4. So 14 times negative 4 will be negative 56. So negative 56 plus 22 divided by 2. The other term, negative 10x times negative 4 will give us a positive 40. Negative 56 plus 22 will give us let's try this. There we go. Over 2 plus 40. 34 over 2 is 17. Whoops, what did I do wrong here? Oh, should be negative. That's what I did wrong here. Negative 34 over 2 is negative 17 plus 40, which if I had enough space would be 23. And then the left side would equal the right side. Sorry about that. That was a very cramped example. Alright, this one, different denominator, so you need to multiply by the lowest common denominator. So that's going to be 6. Multiply all terms by 6. Then we'll divide this. 6 divided by 3 will give us a 2 here. Over here, 6 divided by 2 will give us a 3 that's multiplied by this term. So, sorry, on the first one, we'll have 2 times y plus 1, because 2 is multiplied by this entire thing. Then we have plus 1 times 6 is 6. And on the other side, we have this term, 3y minus 2, all multiplied by 3. Now we're going to have to expand the brackets here on both sides of the equations. So 2 times y is 2y, 2 times 1 is 2, 6 stays the same. And on the other side, 3 times 3y is 9y, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. We're going to combine these together. 2y plus 8 equals 9y minus 6. We need to isolate the variable, so I'm going to subtract 2y from both sides because it's being added over here, so those will cancel out. In the same step, I'm also going to add 6 to both sides. You can do this in 2 separate steps, of course, but for space issues here. So 8 plus 6 is 14. The 6's over here cancel out, so we're just left with 9y minus 2y, so that equals 7y. We can divide both sides by 7, and we're left with 2 is equal to y, or y equals 2. I'm going to skip the check for this one because I've already done this, but this is something that you always need to do to make sure your work is correct. And this one, I would like you to try to solve on your own. This one's fairly simple. The denominator is the same, so you just have to start by multiplying everything by 3 and see what your answer is. I'm going to pause it here, put in the question, and then let you solve. And that's the end of this video.